Joshua Landis is the Director of Middle Eastern Studies at the University of Oklahoma. He joins us from Norman via Skype. Joshua Landis, this is the first kind of direct Syrian strikes we've seen into Lebanese territory. How significant is this development, do you think, and what's behind it?
Well, the strike was on a town, Arsal, a town in a Sunni enclave that borders from the Bekaa Valley onto Syria. Most of the Bekaa Valley is inhabited by Shiites and is dominated by Hezbollah. But this enclave is where a lot of rebel soldiers have collected. Only a few months ago, a number of Lebanese soldiers were killed as they tried to arrest some of these al-Qaeda affiliated soldiers. And so Syria is taking the fight into the Lebanese border to kill these rebels. Now, this is part of a larger spillover from the Syrian civil war that we've been seeing. A number of Syrian soldiers were killed in Iraq only a week ago, when they were being ferried back into Syria. Their bus was blown up by al-Qaeda-linked numbers. And in Golan, we saw most recently rebels captured a bunch of UN troops, and there's been some spillover into the Israeli-occupied part of Syria in the Golan Heights. So the neighbors are feeling the effects of this, and a lot of rebels have been calling for American and greater European involvement in order to stop this spillover effect. The idea being,
So let me ask you then, what's your assessment of how the Lebanese might retaliate, given the various different armed groups in the country, some, as you say, who support the Syrian regime and some who don't?
The Lebanese government is very unlikely to retaliate. They don't have much in the way of arms or an air force. They don't want to get involved. They've been trying to lay low. As we know, the government is influenced by Hezbollah to a certain extent, which is sympathetic to the Syrian government. But as you say, the Lebanese government is very split. They do not want to get into this very sectarian civil war in Syria, because it will open up the sectarian wounds that have only begun to heal since the Lebanese civil war came to an end in 1990.
Do you think this incident will now provide further impetus, perhaps, to arm the Syrian opposition?
You know, there are a lot of people who argue that this sort of spillover is going to destabilize the neighborhood. And their argument goes that the Obama administration has thought that they could sort of cauterize the Syrian trouble inside Syria. And so the people who are lobbying for a greater American role are saying, look, you can't cauterize it. It's going to spill out and destabilize Lebanon, Jordan, potentially Iraq, Turkey, Kurdish question. So there is pressure to do it, but I don't think Obama is going to turn around on this issue. As we're seeing, you know, the Syrian opposition is trying to put up a government, but the chief of staff, the American chief of staff, just this week said that it's less clear to them today who the rebels really are and who they want to support amongst the rebels, and if they could really make a difference on the ground by supporting the rebels. So I think the Obama administration still sees Syria as a bit of a swamp, and there is mounting pressure because the humanitarian crisis is overwhelming, and the spillover effects into the neighbors is strong. And so if that continues to increase, the pressure goes up.